since they are really young. Yeah, there is some cats fighting.
Welcome to the center of the world, presented by Antoine Lavati. Because of some technical issues, the 5 first minutes of this very episode are in a lesser audio quality, but right after that it gets better, so just hang on and enjoy that episode. Welcome to the center of the world for that new episode, and tonight my guest is Guillaume Lemaitre.
Hi.
Hi Guillaume, so today we are in your garden.
Yes.
In the heart of Brussels.
Yes.
And the weather is awesome.
Yeah, very key. Just enjoying the last bit of sun.
It's the end of the day and we have a really nice temperature. Yeah. So the life in coronavirus is not so complicated.
Yeah, I have a nice quarantine life actually. I'm able to enjoy my coffee in the garden every morning. Yeah, living the good life basically.
So Guillaume, how old are you?
I'm 22.
You're 22. You're from Belgium.
From Belgium.
You're the first guest that I have that is not an expat. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm not an expat. I'm very local.
Yeah. And today we are going to talk about your life, about the best experience you had in your life, professional and personal. And maybe we can talk after that about what you're doing now in Brussels. But maybe we could start with how we met.
Yeah, very interesting actually. Yeah, basically I came to Brussels for my new job and I had no accommodation and I went on couchsurfing and then I saw you and yeah, I slept over your place a few days waiting for my new accommodation to be.
Yeah.
And then we kind of matched.
So it was in November, I think.
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay. It was supposed to be just like a simple couchsurfing experience and stuff like that, and it turned really to friendship, like really naturally from I guess the first minute we met.
Yeah, really naturally, like you said. It was we had the same point of interest, so yeah, everything went on the good way.
So since we met, we did quite a few activities together.
Yeah,
I remember that I organized a party at your place.
Yeah, a lot of people, but thankfully there was no furniture yet, so we didn't fuck up the new place.
So, before talking about the reason why you came to Brussels, maybe we could talk about like where you're from.
Yeah.
So, where are you from?
I'm from the beautiful city of Liège, a bit back in the countryside, but basically I studied in Liège, so it's 1 hour from Brussels, so pretty easy. Nice people with a strong accent and really with the joie de vivre. So,
like there is, if you translate it in English, a lifestyle in Liège.
Yeah, drinking lifestyle. Some party people love to party hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is it so special about that city?
I don't know, just the people, an atmosphere. Like people don't care of what other people sing when they see them. So really an open mind and also a lot of students. So I guess like in every student city there is a lot of activities during the week and in the weekend there is all the workers coming. So yeah, it's always there's always something going on.
Okay. And what did you study?
To translate it, it's technical sales. So it's the basics of engineering and of construction techniques. And then I learned how to sell it. So
okay. So, you're born and raised in Liège.
Yeah.
You did your university there as well.
Yeah.
And then, right after your study, did you find a job?
Yeah, right after. So, I moved in Brussels.
What is it like that you're doing now in Brussels?
So, I work for a startup. I'm a business developer. It's a startup. I do a bit of everything. So, we are active in the coliving.
But so what's the principle exactly of that?
Coliving is a way for young workers, especially expats, who arrive in Brussels to have a nice house, because it's not always easy to find an accommodation in big cities. and then you have your housemates, which are young workers too, because we can kind of choose the kind of people who are going to live in the house. So there is always a good atmosphere. So you directly have friends, you have nice house in a nice place. So like here we are in my garden, I live in one of our house. And more than the house, we have a community. So we try to always have at least 20 houses in each cities. So we are more than 200 living in those houses. And then the company Coliving is organizing events, agreements, some yoga course in parks and stuff. So you can meet a lot of people. And that really helps to start your life as an expat.
Okay, so basically the idea is that as a young expat, not only you find a room to stay, a place to live, but also you have a way to socialize and to create a life for yourself, a nice routine with some events and stuff like that.
Exactly. So yeah, it's proved that most of the young workers coming in a new city are during the first month a bit lonely because it's hard to make friends.
Okay. Actually, when I talked about the party earlier that was here in that house, it's like a huge house on 4 levels. Yeah. There is, how many rooms there is here?
8.
Okay, 8 people. That house has like some heritage. It's a really beautiful house. The district is really nice as well. We are in your magnificent garden where we can hear the birds and stuff like that. So you're saying that, there is not just one house, but many places like that in the same city.
Yes.
In order to really create a network.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
And so right now we are in Brussels, so it's like the capital of Europe. Obviously, you attract many young professionals from all over Europe that want to work together.
Even more than Europe. We have some Brazilians, a lot of US people. So it's really people from all over the world, and then you can learn about the culture. We have also Indians people, so yeah, it's really also an experience to live with those people which are coming from very different horizon.
Okay.
So it's really interesting.
In Brussels, it's like the ideal city for that, but in which other city are you located as well?
Well, yet we also develop in Luxembourg, which is a place with a lot of international workers. There is also in France, which is really interesting. In Portugal, like in Lisbon, for example. So a lot of exciting projects, but nothing really finalized yet.
Okay, so for now it's just Brussels.
Yeah, for now it's just Brussels. Yeah.
Okay, but like you are planning on expanding widely.
Yeah, exactly. Mostly in Europe, and then we will see. We are still very young, so...
The word is not enough.
No, no limits.
Okay, so when did you start it there exactly?
When did you say, Matthew?
I think it was November.
Then I started in November.
Okay, so you finished your studies in...
September.
In September. So how was the process to find a job after your studies?
So first I finished in September because I failed an exam in my last year.
Okay.
So Dutch exam, basically. Then
the kryptonite of every Wallonian people.
Yeah, exactly. Ik spreek het niet in Nederlands.
Yeah. So, just to put in a context, Belgium is divided into
two languages.
Two languages mainly.
There's the north and the south. So
yeah.
In the north they speak Flemish.
Yeah.
And in the south the best place to be is French speakers.
Yeah. So, what do you think that it's so complicated for the Wallonian to learn Dutch? Because I feel like there is more Flemish people that speaks French than Wallonian that speak Dutch.
To be honest, the main reason is that the education in Wallonia is less good than in Flanders.
Okay.
So we learn a bit less the languages than there. So they basically, since they are really young. There is some cats fighting.
What the fuck?
Around there. Yeah, there is a little fight. Do you see them?
No.
It would have been fun.
That was insane. So you're saying that it's about the educational system?
Yeah, first, and then...
You think that the Flemish people can learn better?
That's not they can learn, but that they'll learn earlier.
Okay.
So, and basically, when I could choose between Dutch and English at school, I, of course, choose English because it's like the international language.
Okay.
And when you speak Dutch, where can you go except in Flanders or Holland?
Nowhere else. That's true.
And that's also that. So I was really not motivated to learn Dutch first because, that's not motivating you when you can only speak that language in 2 places, basically.
Yeah, I think that worldwide there is like only 50 million people or even less that are...
I don't even know. And the Flemish has that motivation that you can speak French in France. In Belgium, of course, there is also some places, Quebec and stuff, so there's a lot of places where you can speak French. And it's also, Dutch is less sexy than French or English.
30 million people.
30 million, you know.
30 million people, so that's really not a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously English is more attractive.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, that explains also why Flemish people will tend to speak better French also, because like it's a language from their country, but it opens like larger horizon.
Exactly.
Okay. You finished your studies in September.
Yep.
After failing your Dutch exam, you had to retake. And then,
I just went to a startup fair, and I met the boss of the collive, and we spoke, and then he called me back the day after, and I went back to the office. We had an interview, and everything went.
Oh, really?
Well, so pretty easy.
Okay. So what was that fair like? Was it in Liège or?
It was in Brussels, in the Google Analysis building, just next to the Gare du Midi.
I have no idea about that.
It's really nice place. There is a lot of conference going on and stuff. So that was in Brussels.
Okay, is it like a big event?
There was, I think, about 15 or 20 companies there.
Okay.
So they do a pitch. They just introduce their company, what they do, and what are they looking for. Like as young people, is they want an intern, a business developer, or an IT developer or something, a web developer. Yeah, and then after that, you can just go talk with the people who spoke in the conference.
Okay.
So it's really nice. It's really nice.
Okay. And did you have like other contact with other company, or you really felt like that one was gonna be?
I spoke a bit with all the companies which were interesting at the conference. But yeah, it was really the best feeling I had, and I was really glad that they called me back.
Okay, nice. So when we met, you just moved from Liège to Brussels, and the place where you were supposed to live, so here, wasn't ready at all?
No, not yet. So we spoke about colleague giving me an accommodation, so I could work in Brussels. And so it was planned I live in that house, and then I arrived a bit earlier than planned. And so I moved in the house with no furniture and stuff, but I had the minimum, of course. I had a bed and stuff, but I was living the first 3 weeks in the renovations. Yeah, but it was pretty fun.
Just to illustrate, so it's a master house. The ceilings are maybe 3 meters high.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. The living room is just like magnificent.
Yeah.
There is a chandelier on the ceiling, so it's really something quite unique, I would say.
Yeah, it's really typical house in Brussels.
Really?
Yeah, there is I would say half of the houses are like that in Brussels, but it's really rare because there's a lot of people looking for that.
Okay.
So you really have to fight to have those houses.
So it's like what we say in French, in maison maître.
Yep.
Master's house.
Yeah, master house, exactly, in English.
And it's a really beautiful place to live, I guess.
Yeah.
What's the name of your company?
Collive.
Collive, okay. And there is a website, I guess.
Yeah.
We will put the link in the reference. Did the coronavirus had an influence on the business right now?
Of course, like every company, we had to face it.
Okay.
But we are not like in the tourism, so we still had people in our rooms, and so we still received their rent, and so we faced it pretty good, I think. And we lost a bit of money, but it's normal.
Okay.
It's just for the development, which is a bit harder because you can't cross the borders, but we face it pretty well. It has a really good potential for long-term living as a company.
Do you see yourself working here for quite a while?
Yeah, of course. Of course. I really don't feel like working during the week,
Okay.
It's like, so when I'm in Brussels, I mostly do house management. And when I come back to the office, I do the business development. So I do really different tasks. So I really don't feel the week going on.
So what are like the tasks that you do?
Well, the house management is just speaking with our tenants. They just tell us if there is any issues in the house, so we can manage it. Then we call the entrepreneurs to fix those issues. And also when we open a new house, so we basically, our rhythm is to open 2 houses a month. So we always have 2 houses in renovation per month, because most of the time those master houses are pretty old when we get it, and we just have to renew it to make a nice design and stuff. So we also have to check and to manage all the work. So it's pretty intense. And then the business development is mostly research and giving calls to companies and to real estate agents. So they look after houses for me in those cities I'm looking for. And then I have to travel to visit those houses. So it's really interesting.
Nice. So, long live to Colive, I guess.
Yeah, it's just the beginning.
Yeah. So when we met, it's not something that you told me about right away, but you told me that during your youth, you were cycling a lot.
Yeah.
And that you did competition and everything.
Yes. So basically, I wouldn't say at a high level, but it was really serious. So I'm really a competitor, and when I do something, I do it 100%.
Okay.
So I basically went to a school to improve my level.
So how old were you when you really seriously started to do cycling?
14.
14.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty young. It was more like a passion that I did at 100%. And my dream was, as all my friends doing cycling, to become a professional, which didn't happen yet. But yeah, it was really a good life school. I had a really nice education thanks to that, like to be focused on a goal and then doing the thing 100% to make it happen.
Okay.
So yeah, it was really nice.
Okay, so you did that from 14 until
18.
Until 18.
Yeah.
What was your schedule, let's say your weekly schedule on?
For first, I was at school abroad with some other cyclists. So it was always training and school, basically. So on the Monday, it was easy day, just going to school and coming back just 1 or 2 hours on the bike. After school. On Tuesday, I had 3 hours in the morning on the bike with the school instead of being in class studying maths.
Okay.
So it's pretty fun still. And then during the season, sometimes I had to train after school for 1 or 2 hours for specific trainings. And then on Wednesday, so I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but in Belgium we just have a half a day at school. So in the afternoon I had free time, but so it meant training. So I was just going to train. That was the long day on the bike on Wednesday. So I was training from 3 to 6 hours every Wednesday. And then on Thursday was basically the same than on Tuesday. So cycling the morning instead of going to class. And then sometimes cycling after the course, after school. And then on Friday it was a bit more chill. So just the preparation for the race of the weekend, and during the weekend it was mostly racing.
Okay. So there was like competition every weekend?
Yeah, every weekend.
Okay.
Mostly in Flanders, sometimes in Wallonia, and sometimes in France, sometimes in Italy, sometimes a bit everywhere in those countries. So it was really nice too. I traveled a bit thanks to that.
So is there like a big cycling culture in Belgium?
Yeah. I think it's really, really, really one of the biggest sport cultures.
Okay.
Just after football, I think. So yeah, it's really intense in Belgium.
Why did you decide to go towards cycling? Was it like a personal choice? Was it like your parents that told you should do that?
They never told me to do that. I had my stepfather was a cyclist of the Sunday, He was just going to cycling with his friends on Sunday, and sometimes I went with him, and I liked it. And then I was watching, of course, the Tour de France during July, and it was really attractive. And then, so I tasted like that.
Okay. So why did you stop at 18?
So I crashed a lot, and I broke my collarbone for I don't know how many times. And my last crash, it was a bit too much, just before some big objectives. So it was disgusting for me. It was too much. Then I decided to make a break. And then also that was the moment I was starting my studies. So, at university, it's a lot of partying. So I had to make a choice, or studying or cycling. Okay. And I saw a better future by studying.
So do you think like there was no way for you to do both at the same time?
No, there is people doing it, but it's really rare. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for those who can study and cycling at a high level.
Okay.
It takes a lot of time.
Would you say that like it's a dangerous sport because of all those injuries? Like what kind of injuries did you have?
Mostly burns. So when you are doing road race, cycling race. You are in the peloton and we touch each other sometimes. Not in the sexual way. I mean, in a...
Oh, really? I thought that cycling was all about sexuality, and that's why you were...
in the showers
and you know, that's why there were like the tight shorts and everything.
Yeah, and we shave our legs and stuff, so it's like a girl. But no, really, if the one in front of you crash, and it's really fast. Sometimes we ride at 60 km per hour, and then there is someone who fall in the peloton, so you fall.
Okay.
And we take a lot of risks because with the adrenaline, you don't feel that it's dangerous, and sometimes you just go too fast. So, and then when you are at the end of the race, there is a lot of tension, and so in the sprints, you touch each other, but it's really dangerous.
Okay.
So, and also we have no protection. We just have an helmet.
Yeah.
So when you crash, it hurts. You are burnt like a pizza because the asphalt burnt pretty hard.
Okay.
I don't know if you never tasted a road, but
certainly
when you were a kid.
Each one of us did at some point.
Yeah. So that hurts, and then sometimes you just fall in the bad way and you break a bone.
Oh, so what did you break?
I don't know to say in English, but basically my mouth.
The
jaw, yeah.
Okay.
My collarbone, like every cyclist, I think, and some fingers. But I think that's basically it. That's not too much. I know a lot of other cyclists who had way worse.
Okay.
Some cyclists who are dead also because doing training or place to train are the roads, and there is the cars, and sometimes sometimes there is some misunderstanding, I would say, between the cyclists and the car drivers, and a car is stronger than a bike.
Would you say that the training is more dangerous than the competition?
It's more deadly, I would say, because so when you crash in a competition, most of the time it's with some other cyclists, so you don't have a too hard shock, but you don't hit too hard something going at high speed. But sometimes there is some death also in races that happened, unfortunately. But yeah, there is a lot of death on the roads, and not only competitors, a lot of just people doing cycling for fun. They got hit by a car. Sometimes it's because of the car, sometimes it's because of the cycling, sometimes it's just an accident. But it's pretty dangerous because you have no protection. But cycling is freedom, so it's pretty fun.
Okay.
I still cycling a lot.
Okay.
Just for freedom.
What is the best thing that you got from those 4 years of being a professional athlete? Like, what's the best memory or the best value or achievement you got from that? I
think in general I just had a lot of discipline thanks to that. So no, I kind of made my mistake, of course, during my studies, but I know how to focus on a goal and how to achieve it. And you know that when you're a cyclist, the only way to achieve a goal is to work on it. Okay. So it's a lot. It learned me a lot. Okay. Just not to be lazy.
And what kind of doping product did you use?
Methamphetamine, but I still use it, of course. Actually.
Okay. It's really important. Every cyclist needs to use the right drug. It can be red wine.
Drug is good for you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep using it.
But as Isabel said, it's always about the doses. You must not use too much.
Yeah, that's like eating sugar. You don't have to eat sugar too much. And that's like cocaine. You don't have to use cocaine too much. So I would say, yeah, just go for it, but be careful.
Exactly. For all those 4 years, your parents, I guess, were supporting you for that.
Yeah.
So what was the life of your parents then? Because I guess like it must be different from just kids that goes to school.
Basically, it's not that different. It's like driving your child at the football match, football game. Mm-hmm. Just that it's a bit further sometimes, and it takes a bit longer than a football match.
Yeah.
So basically, it's the same, and also it's a bit more expensive than just a short and some shoes. It's a lot of investments, and I'm really thankful for that. I think they really enjoyed it. Like it's really an atmosphere. Like the cycling world is really an atmosphere. When you go on a race on the weekend, you really feel the adrenaline, and I think they preferred me to be on drugs for cycling than on drugs just for the recreative ones.
So they were really enjoying that, and they were really supportive to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, parents of Guillaume.
Thanks.
You started your studies then.
Mm-hmm.
Then you traveled.
Yeah, a bit.
Okay.
During the studies. Thanks to the studies. I had the opportunity to do my internship for one onion company in Asia. So more specifically in Myanmar.
So you're studying. You said sales. Something?
Yeah, technical sales.
Technical sales. What's like the goal? What is like the dream job out of technical sales studies?
It was not my dream job, but you're prepared to be a sales representative for a company which is selling some technical products.
Okay, so it's like a mix of normal course.
Yeah, so you have some course about entrepreneurship. So that was really the part I loved about those studies. It really opened my mind about it. And then you have to choose if you want to study IT, so technology and computers and coding, or construction, so all the materials and everything about construction. So I choose that second option.
Okay.
And then it's all mixed with some marketing course, selling techniques, how to negotiate, how to shake a hand and stuff. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. Not too hard. It wasn't like studying medicine or something.
Okay.
So perfect balance.
And there were a lot of internships.
Not a lot, but we had a lot of projects.
Okay.
So not always related with an internship. So I hear by internship doing it with a company, for a company.
Okay.
But sometimes we're just for ourselves. So in the first year I had a project, if I remember well, we called it Smart Glass.
Okay.
So it was basically some smart glass for construction. I don't exactly remember what we did, but it was just changing of colors depending on the sun and stuff.
Okay.
So we made that. Then in the second year, so it was a bit the same project, like starting a company by yourself. So it was really about entrepreneurship. It was not really for real, but what did I do? So it was with a company actually. It was not for a company, but in partnership with a company, and I did in ventilation. So how to clean a ventilation in a house or in a big factory or in a restaurant. So it's really technical. That's exactly what we heard.
So do you think that it's because it was not abstract and it was more about like real stuff that you liked it?
Yeah. I think that you were seeing what you were doing.
Okay.
That wasn't like studying philosophy. I love philosophy, but I don't think that I would be able to do it just because it's all about reading and understanding stuff. So me, it was more like concrete stuff.
Okay. Then you had that opportunity to go to Asia and to Myanmar to do your internship.
Yeah. I absolutely wanted to do it because I started the studies by thinking that at my last year I had the opportunity to travel. So I took that opportunity and went to Myanmar for a few months.
Okay.
So pretty interesting.
So how a guy that studies sales in Liège ends up in Myanmar?
Well, as every internship, you have to find a company.
Okay.
So I just found a company who was doing business in Asia. At the beginning, they were doing it in...
A Belgian company?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one onion, exactly. And so they were active already in Bangladesh. And I knew the boss. So I just asked her, hey, do you have any project going on? And then she told me, yeah, you can contact him. So I contacted that guy who was leading that project. And so I helped him to make a market research about the market in Myanmar.
Okay.
And that was about truck scares.
What is that exactly?
That's a scale to weigh the trucks.
Oh, okay.
So it's really, again, a technical product.
Okay. What this company is doing, basically?
Some weight system.
Okay.
And they are exporting, for example, a lot in Africa, a lot in Bangladesh, and I don't exactly know how it goes, but in Myanmar, to export some big scares where the truck is just going on in the ports, for example, just to know the weight.
Well, that's, I guess, something really useful for like all the control and...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you talk to that girl through networking and you just say that I'm looking for an internship?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I'm looking for an internship. I really want to do it overseas.
Yeah.
And she asked me, does Myanmar sounds good to you? I was like, yeah.
Okay.
So... yeah, I went to the company for 2 weeks and then I booked my flight tickets. Okay. And I went alone in Myanmar to study the market.
So when was that?
Exactly the month. I think I went there from February 2019 to June 2019.
So it's not long ago. So you spent February to June, so 4 months there.
Yeah.
Okay. So you arrived in Myanmar with like your backpack and
With my
your
backpack
suitcase
and my backpack, my computer, and
Mhm.
ready to start. First to adapt myself to that country because it's really different,
Mhm.
and with my goals. So I was really motivated to accomplish those goals.
Okay. So you arrived there. Do they have an apartment for you or a place to stay?
No, that's the thing. So I really found that internship last minute,
Okay.
as always I do. So officially I had to spend at least 1 month to learn the product there and to prepare that internship. So, but I had to start my internship, well, at the date that I had to. So I basically just stayed 2 weeks. So I just learned the project and didn't prepare at all the trip.
In Belgium.
In Belgium, in the
Okay.
company in Belgium. And they didn't have any offices in Myanmar. So my first goal when I arrived there was to find an accommodation, which wasn't that easy actually.
When you take your flight from Brussels to Myanmar, like it must be a long flight first.
Yeah, I don't exactly remember, but about 12 or 13 hours.
Okay. What do you know about what will happen there when you arrive? Like, do you have like a hotel? Do you know some people?
Yeah, I booked for 1 night in an hostel.
Okay.
And then finally I stayed there 10 nights, I think.
Okay.
And then I went a lot to the university to see if I could work from there. You know, the desk research, as we call it in the marketing. So I checked a lot, all those stuff, and I was looking a lot through Facebook for an accommodation. And after 1 month, I found an apartment. It's a bit illegal there in Myanmar because I was just going there with a touristic visa.
Oh.
Not a business visa. So I had to sleep or in an hotel or in an hostel, but something official. So for example, Airbnb is illegal there, but to stay 4 months, it's not affordable to go in an hotel for 4 months. So I just found someone who wanted to subrent her apartment. So then, yeah, I found it after 1 month.
So in which city you were?
In Yangon. So that's not the capital, but it's like the main city.
Okay. And so the project was there in Yangon?
No, it was all around the country.
Okay.
But as I said, everything is just going on in Yangon. So all the offices, so every company has at least one office in Yangon.
Okay.
And then when I had to go on the site to see the existing installation or to see what projects they had in mind or what if they want, or just to meet the plant manager, I was just going to travel. So I was taking a bus. Those beautiful bus in Myanmar.
Okay.
And just going all around the country. That was pretty nice.
So you arrived there with your backpack, with 1 night in the hostel. Then you end up just moving from hostel to hostel for like a month.
Yeah.
Then you end up finding an apartment.
Yes.
What other big challenge you had to face when you installed yourself in Myanmar?
Kind of hard to say. I would say first, it was my first trip in Asia. So it was the first time I was traveling by myself.
Oh.
So it was also a big step. So I was 21, first time in Asia alone.
Okay.
With not real plan and kind of a lot of pressure on my shoulders to manage my internship. And to write it for my thesis and everything, you know. So yeah, the first step was really to find an accommodation.
Okay.
And just to get used to the atmosphere.
Okay.
To speak all the time in English with people who don't necessarily speak well in English. And I wasn't really good either. I was just able to speak, but with a strong French accent, as you will certainly hear on that podcast. And so, yeah, all those things, one in the other. And also I had to find the right balance between enjoying my experience and working.
Okay.
That was really the first month I was more enjoying the experience, and at the end I was like, okay, I have to work now.
Oh, okay.
So it was also hard. So I was really focused on finding an accommodation, finding a place to work. Finally, I worked at my apartment because it was really cool, and also finding a list of companies I could contact because it doesn't exist. Like you have to know that the internet is not that old, and everything is still like 20 years late.
Okay.
Compared to Europe. So it was really a hard labor to find a list of companies. And then I had to contact them to find someone there speaking English, to fix an appointment, and then to go to that appointment.
Okay.
And when you're 21, you have no experience, and that you have to manage alone those meetings, which are sometimes at 20 hours by bus. you have to be sure it happens, when you take a bus for 20 hours.
Okay.
So
wow.
I just failed a few times.
Okay.
Like arriving there and had no meeting, and I just lost 1 week basically.
Okay.
Because when you are 40 hours on a week on the bus, then a few days after it, you are just tired. So yeah, it was a really nice challenge.
Okay. So basically, what was your mission there?
To see if there was some potential for the company, for the Belgian company there.
Okay.
And then if yes, to make the first steps.
So it was about like prospecting the market.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you find some companies in the end to?
Yeah, I'm interested, but I don't exactly know what happens now. But in 5 months, it's hard to make all that work and to conclude a contract like that.
Okay.
Well, especially that I didn't have any experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it was an internship, and I don't think that it was your goal to really settle the deal anyway.
No, exactly. It was just to say, okay, you can invest in that country or not.
Okay. So who was providing your funds for your internship?
At the beginning, it was the AWEX, so it's kind of the Wallonian exportation helps that they have here in Belgium. And at the end, I didn't send my documents, so they didn't help me. And so it was just the company.
Okay.
So, and I had also a scholarship from my school.
Okay. Okay. So what did your daily life look like? Once you're settled, you overcame the challenge and you finally found that place in Yangon.
Yeah.
What did like a typical day look like?
Yeah, I was waking up quite early because the weather is hot.
Mm-hmm.
I was going out for the breakfast and checking my planning. And if I had no meetings, I was just working from home, so searching from 9 to 5 basically.
Okay.
And at the evening I was just meeting some friends there.
So you made friends there?
Yeah, thanks to Couchsurfing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, most of them.
Okay, tell me.
I just installed that application because I was feeling a bit lonely at the beginning. And because at the beginning in an hostel, of course, I met a lot of people who were staying here or there and just traveling around. So it wasn't like a friendship. It was, as you know, travel people, like backpacking. And then, I met a few locals. Yeah, the birds are really talking.
Yeah, man. Fucking birds.
But that's really nice.
Yeah.
I made a few friends there.
So you met locals?
Locals and expats.
So there are like some expats in Myanmar?
A lot, basically.
A lot?
Yeah, a lot of Western people. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we don't know anything about Myanmar. A few years ago, it was still a dictator, and it was like really closed. And all I knew about Myanmar was that there were some precious wood that were trafficked in that area, and we had no knowledge. So you had the opportunity to have like a decent life there by meeting your friends and everything. So what is like the main cultural difference between let's say your life before Myanmar and your life in Myanmar? Or
well, it's a poor country. I don't want to say things that are not true, but I think that it's the poorest country in Southeast Asia, and people live really simply. And you also see that, for example, some old fashion here in Europe. So, for example, some dance like tectonic and stuff there, it's still wow. They're just late.
Oh.
And Facebook there, so here Facebook is a bit dying. Like there is some less and less users in Europe, and there it's just exploding. So there's a lot of users of Facebook there. And also they don't have the education that we have about the pollution, for example. So everything is very dirty.
Okay.
Well, everything is dirty. That's a big word. But you see a lot of trash in the streets. And so, you really see that we have a good life in Europe compared to them. So it's really a simple life, and I really reduced my lifestyle when I came back, I was the kind of guy who wanted to be rich, absolutely, just doing business, and now I'm more like I want a decent life, to have some experience, to travel a lot. And now people are breaking the dishes. That's awesome. And so I basically really changed my life, that trip.
Okay.
I discovered that I liked travel, I liked adventure.
So in terms of acknowledgement from that, it really changed the person inside you.
I can say that.
There was like a Guillaume before and there is a new Guillaume after that.
Yeah, okay. Way more adventurer and more sensitive about poverty. And also the global warming. Okay. You can really notice it in the countries. Everything is really more has a biggest impact than here in Europe. So no, here in Europe it's just nice because the summer is warmer than before, and there it's just like too warm, so everything is dying. Like all the plants, the farmers, the rice culture there, which is the main activity, they just don't produce a lot of rice now, and so yeah, everything is too much. It's too extreme.
So you experienced that?
Yeah. I experienced, not really because I had my comfort, but I mean, I saw people really fighting for their life because of the global warming. Yeah, they had no more water, for example, so they are really waiting for the rainy season, and it's coming later and later every year.
Okay.
Because of the global warming. I'm not an expert, but I guess. So all those little things really changed me, I would say. Living simple, noticing the true environmental challenge that we have to face now, and yeah, basically, those things.
I was in India.
Yeah.
In 2003.
Yeah.
Summer 2003. I was there for 2 months. Mainly in the Himalaya.
Yes.
But I spent sometimes in New Delhi.
Yes.
Also.
Okay.
And in this kind of city, you can experience the extreme poverty.
Yeah, exactly.
And the big cultural difference. And this has an impact on your everything you know.
Yeah, it's shocking.
Yeah. It's shocking, and it puts your privilege, your privileged lifestyle of...
You notice how lucky we are.
Yeah, exactly. My parents are poor. That wasn't the point. But then I really experienced what poverty can mean, what kind of struggle can mean. And in India was really spectacular. And we talked about that with Madhu on a previous podcast.
Mm-hmm.
People are still trying to enjoy life and to find happiness in everything.
Yeah, they are still very friendly, smiling, and enjoying the little things. So you can just see children playing around with a wood ball, and they're glad with what they have, Yeah, that's just that they are happy with what they have.
Yeah, maybe it's a connection that our society, our Western Europe culture kind of lost.
Yeah.
Like being only focused on success and material thing.
Yeah, about comfort. We worked to have comfort.
Yeah, which is not real.
Well, it is real, but because your coach is comfortable, I would say. But I don't think we have to focus on that.
Okay.
I don't think it's the main thing.
Indeed.
So, yeah.
Similar experience to yours, even though if I was even younger.
Mm-hmm.
I was just 16. I was gonna turn 17, but I was just 16. Experiencing, I would say, not only the difference, but I think, and probably you had a similar experience to mine, some kind of extreme in the difference of culture, in the poverty, in the dirtiness, in the delay in terms of technology and everything.
And what was the experience? The one in India? Or?
Yeah, in India.
Oh, okay, you were that young.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And did you travel by yourself there?
With my mother.
Oh, nice.
She was restoring a Buddhist temple.
Whoa.
In India, so I had that opportunity to travel with her. So the way it worked, it's like we landed in New Delhi and we went directly through another internal flight to Leh, which is kind of the capital of the Ladakh Zanskar, which is like really up north in India. It's in the Himalaya. It's really, when you're in Leh, you don't feel that you're in India anymore because it's a completely different population. It's, let's say, the same features as Nepal, Tibet, complete different routes. It's a different country almost, with a Buddhist culture, with a strong Buddhist culture. So first we did like 3 days of accommodating to the altitude.
Oh yeah.
Because we land at 3,000 something meter, 3,200 meter. My mom went to a conference of the Dalai Lama during that time. I was just not in the mood for that, and I was young. I think I didn't realize at that time that it was really the Dalai Lama there. When I saw the picture that my mom took, because it was really easy to just go front row and take some pictures, and stuff like that, I was like, yeah, okay, maybe I missed something, but
Yeah, a bit too young. At
Yeah.
17, I didn't even know what it was, who it was.
yeah.
So, yeah, I understand you. Totally get you.
And after those 3 days, we started a 6 days trekking.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it was the first part of the trekking. 6 days trekking to go to a village which is not accessible by any road, where my mom was supposed to have some training of
Okay.
the techniques to renovate a Buddhist temple, the painting techniques.
Okay. And did you help in the renovation?
No, I will come to that. Okay, so it's really interesting about India is that it's a really confronting experience. And
Yeah.
I think that you had also that in Myanmar, that there are some moments where you choose to live or die, basically.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I wouldn't say that I was confronted that. I don't think so.
Okay.
Or I didn't notice, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, I heard that in India it's way worse than in Myanmar.
Yes.
Especially that because on the paper it's not the poorest country in Asia, I would say. But there is a lot of difference because there is a lot of rich,
Yes.
but there is a lot of poor.
Yeah. The first time that I faces my deadly fear were when you start the trekking. Just imagine that you are in that truck. We're like 6 other people that gonna do the trekking with you. And you arrive at the end of the road. And it's like, so already the road is like, I don't know, maybe 2 meters wide.
Okay.
On the right side, there is like the cliff.
Right, yeah.
So you're driving along the cliff, and on
You were still in a car.
and on the left side there is like the river 200 meters.
Oh yeah. So basically, just
So-
on the two sides, you are just
Yeah. So
on a
if
crit.
if the car makes any wrong moves, you're dead.
you have to trust the pilot.
Yeah, exactly. You trust the driver, like everything, and you arrive at the end of the road, and that's the end of the road. There are like actually workers continuing the road at that point.
Oh yeah.
So you get out of the car, and then there is like a path below the rocks that is blocking the road for now, and that path is maybe 20 to 30 centimeters wide, and you don't have a choice now. It's like you can't go back to and say no, I don't want to do it anymore. You know, it's like you get to go for it, and if you, and I have really strong vertigo. I'm really afraid of height. I have a big scares of height, and from that moment you don't have to choose anything else than surviving and going for it.
Just have to face it.
And from day one, you're a different person.
Yeah.
Because you experience and you face your biggest fear that you could have. The second time where I could really have died is when I was in New Delhi.
Yeah.
I made the mistake to go to McDonald's.
Ooh.
Yes.
Even in Europe, you face that. Yeah.
After 2 months, being in the nature. So yeah, basically, all in all, it was like, I think 20 days of trekking. We spent 18 days on the site restoring the temple. I was giving some football course to the kids
nice.
in a school. It was a really nice
They should
experience.
be very bad if you can learn them some skills.
Yeah, the funny things is that, and they don't tell you that, but you're not supposed to do sports. Like, you're supposed to do sports maybe 3 or 4 months after being there, because at high altitude like that, your blood pressure and your lungs are not able to deal with that. And every time I was giving like a lesson, I was sick for 2 days, but and really bad sick. Like, imagine that once I was so sick that I was blind. I got blind.
You explained me that already.
I had like strong fever, and for a moment I was unable to see anything. And when I was back in New Delhi, I had that experience that I went to McDonald's and I ordered a milkshake because, I was like, back to civilization. Let's have a good burger and French fries and a milkshake. And I had food poisoning that I was really slim when I went
Yeah.
to India, and I was like 56 kilo. And when I came back from India, I was 46 kilo.
Ooh, you were anorexic.
Well, there was not much left, but yeah, I almost died
Oh.
from that.
So you went to hospital for that?
So the thing is that you can go to a doctor, but he needs to have that equipment to inject you with some strong medicines,
Nutriments, yeah.
and water with high sugar,
Yeah.
and that's the best actually. After that, you can eat whatever you want, but it has to have a lot of sugar. So for me, I was going on the market and eating like fresh fruits all the time on the market. I don't know if it was like that for you in Myanmar, but in New Delhi, you have to bargain for everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you like that, that bargaining part of the lifestyle?
Actually, yeah, I really loved it. At the beginning, I wasn't that good at it.
Okay.
But at the end, they see that you're used to be there, so they can't really. You are driving that buying process.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, in India, in New Delhi, you have to bargain for everything.
Yeah, of course.
Everything. So the rickshaw, you have to bargain for that. So that transportation, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The 3 wheels motorbike. The fruits you're buying.
Everything.
Your banana.
Everything. Except in the supermarkets.
Well, I didn't go to the supermarket a lot. Just to buy that kind of magic soap.
And when you are a tourist, it's really hard because they put a high price. And usually they just win on the side.
Yeah, I mean, it's also nonsensical to go to the supermarket where you could really help the local activity.
Yeah, if you're not too sensible to the food poisoning.
Yeah, well, I think that it was more dangerous for me to go to McDonald's than to eat fresh fruit from the market.
Don't go to McDonald's even in Belgium, please.
Never
go to McDonald's.
It was 17 years ago, come on.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I will maybe apologize to you someday.
So that's definitely something that changed me. It's good that I had that experience really early in my life, because I think that's
awesome, yeah.
It's some kind of awakening.
Yeah, and I think that it's the best education that you can have.
Yeah.
That you can receive. I think that traveling is just learning you and opening your mind so much, and opening your eyes on everything.
Indeed. After that, I was way much more open to the world.
Nice.
I think that it teaches you the value of finding happiness and enjoying the small things.
Exactly. I totally agree.
Yeah. So I think that traveling is always good, but experiencing that kind of real life is definitely something really enjoyable.
Totally agree.
So what will be like, beside that life lesson that you get, what will be your best memory from your experience in Myanmar?
I feel like just when I could travel just to discover, when you're in internship, I was really thinking only about that.
Mm-hmm.
And at the beginning, so as I told, during the first months, I was really enjoying there. Yeah, I arrived just before the Chinese New Year.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was the first big experience, really crowded. Really street food, street art, those dragons dancing and stuff. So it was really a first big experience. And then I traveled a bit with some backpackers in the spots to do in Myanmar.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was really the experience of the beginning, just the first steps. After 1 month, I think you get used to the life there, and it's like being at home, So I think it was just the beginning, getting adapted. That's really nice.
So you talked about the Chinese New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Is Myanmar a country that is really influenced by the Chinese culture?
By the Chinese, and that's it. Economically speaking, there is a lot of Chinese.
So there is a border with China?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with the north of China.
Okay.
So there is a lot of Chinese. There is a big community. Yeah. There is some Chinese temple. There is a Chinese district, which is like the best one.
Okay, why?
That's where there is all the parties.
Okay.
There is like the 19th street in Yangon. If you go once, just go there. So it's really the best street to ever drink and to try street food from Myanmar.
Okay.
But, well, there is a bar, one double happiness bar.
Okay.
And so you can have basically every cocktails for 30 cents. So it's freaking nice. You get drunk for €3.
So basically, it's like living and dying in Yangon from alcohol.
Yeah, people like to drink. And the best memory would be the water festival. So it's basically the Myanmar New Year.
Okay.
So that's the only 1 week off, so of holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a big water fight in the whole country.
Okay.
There is the same in Thailand and stuff at around the same period. And so you just have some big installations, some big concert about a bit all around the city. And you are just doing some water fights. You have a water gun, and yeah, you just go out and get wet from 9 in the morning to midnight.
Okay.
And so you put 1 foot outside and you get some water on you. That's awesome. Don't take your phone there. It's pretty dangerous. And yeah, it was pretty nice. And so I met my neighbors that day. And during all that week, I was going for the groceries every morning or for my breakfast. I could never reach it because I was just stopping there drinking rum at 9 in the morning with them.
Okay.
Like, rum is really a famous drink there.
So Myanmar is about cocktail, but mainly rum.
Yeah, and the Myanmar beer is pretty good. I miss it.
Okay.
The one who can send me some, I will give him I will give the address, yeah.
Okay.
The address to send me some Myanmar beer. Please.
Okay. What else do you recommend to do in Myanmar?
Yeah, just traveling around. I think that's a country with a lot of different things to do. So you have all the temples in Bagan, for example. You can just really enjoy the sunrise and sunset. That's really awesome, with a lot of balloon, which are flying around the temples, and that's really an awesome place to be. There is also the Inle Lake, and you can do some trekkings there. That's pretty good, and that's nearby the mountains. There is also the seaside. I think about Dawei, which is really nice.
So Myanmar is the sea?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also I've been to a place where there is no tourists, and I recommend it. It's in a big development right now, and it's called Chao Phu. It's really at the seaside, and you will cross no tourists. There is like 2 hotels there. It's quite cheap, and people are really nice. That's where I met the most of the locals. And I'm still speaking with them, so it's pretty nice.
Wow. And are you planning to go back there?
If I have the opportunity, of course.
Okay.
I would love it.
Myanmar doesn't seem to be such a huge country.
It is a huge country.
It is a huge country.
Yeah. Not like India, but I would say it's about the same size than Thailand, to give you an idea.
And there is like a lot of different landscapes.
Yeah.
And climates.
Yeah. So I've been the coldest climate I had, it was in the mountains. I was sleeping at not that high, but a bit less than 2,000 meters high.
Okay.
And it was at the evening 10 degrees. So it was pretty cold, because I was used to, in Yangon, be confronted to some 40 degrees temperature almost every day when it's hot.
40?
Yeah, so it was like in May. No, it's just before the rainy season, so it's pretty hot. So yeah, it can go from 40 to 10 degrees in the country.
And your best place, you would say, is like the seaside?
Yeah, I would say the place I enjoyed the most, because I met also an American friend, was in Inle Lake. It was really nice hostel, and it was really nice time, but I didn't stay long enough, and I didn't have the opportunity to go back. But the most local experience was in Chao Phu, so at the seaside.
Okay.
And yeah, that was really nice.
Okay. So you recommend people to go to Myanmar?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Actually, people are awesome. It's a safe country also.
Okay.
I mean, I spoke with a lot of girls there they were walking back home at 3 or 4 in the morning alone. They never felt insecure. So, really nice. Yeah. Okay. It's a really nice country.
Well,
cheap also.
And you came there and you did your internship there.
Mm-hmm. And then I came back.
Then you came back and you finished your studies.
Okay.
You did your Dutch exam again.
Yeah, for the 4th time.
Jesus.
And I failed it again. That's the story about that Dutch exam.
Do you have to do it again?
No, I negotiated with the teacher.
Oh, okay.
So I had an 8 out of 20. And yeah, she told me, will you use Dutch someday? I told her, no, never. Yeah, okay, just go for it. Welcome in Belgium, guys.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna be it. Thank you,
that was a nice
Guillaume.
Talk. Thanks to you.
Thank you, Guillaume, for being my guest for that 9th episode. So we will put the information of Colive
Yeah, if you want to.
in the description of the episode. You can find that episode on SoundCloud and YouTube. Don't hesitate to comment, to like, to hate,
and to subscribe,
to to ask questions, and don't hesitate to share as well. Thank you again, and see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks for listening. Comment and check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, Facebook, and Instagram. See you next time. Et c'est parti. T'es prêt?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to the center of the... Déjà ça commence bien. Welcome to the center of the world. Attends. That wine is absolutely delicious, by the way. Huh?
Yeah. Cheers. Santé.
Santé.
So yeah, I wanted just to say at the beginning of the podcast, I said I worked in a bike shop. So yeah, it was just between my last exam and this Dutch exam.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a job, and then
it was like a summer job.
Yeah, a bit more. Like I lied a bit to my employer, telling him that I wanted to work there full time for a bit. But so he hired me. But then I quit once I got diploma.
Okay.
When I got my bachelor.
So the party I organized.
Yeah.
Was like 10-15 people, because there were like
around
5-6 of your friends, and there were like a bit more
of yours
on my side.
www.
Oh well, we will put the okay. So we will
put the link.
Yeah, except an helmet.
Except an helmet
and God is here to protect us.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Obviously. Okay, we're talking about the bad thing.
Yeah. Except if you wanna die, of course.
Yeah.
If you wanna die, it's your own decision.
Wow,
I don't
such
stop
a
you.
Positive.
Yeah, I'm a positive guy. Truck scares, hyper interesting. So
sorry, what? Yeah, what I find as an information is that they are just one of the poorest country in Asia.
Yeah. So
okay.
Ooh. Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. So I arrived just before the. Yeah.
So you arrived.
Blessings.
That's how it is. I'm studying Dutch.
Good luck.
Yeah, goed luck.
Good luck.
I don't know.
Prost.
No.
Veel success.
Veel success. Yeah. And you finished your studies, and you found a job in Brussels.
Yeah.
And now you're working in Brussels.
Yeah.
And suddenly, out of nowhere, came the coronavirus.
Yeah. Do you really want to talk about this?
Well, I mean, what does your life look like during the coronavirus period? Like, did it change a lot in your job?
Of course. As I was trying to develop a new city out of Belgium, it really made it slower. I should maybe speak nearby the micro. So yeah, it changed a bit. It made the development slower, but yeah, basically I could do all the things I didn't have time during the work before the quarantine. So I took my time to do it, working from home. And now everything is going back to normal, basically. So
are you enjoying working from home?
Well, I like to take my time in the morning, so no rush. That's the point. So I still wake up at the same time, but I start maybe working a bit later, because I don't have to go to the office, and I just can take my time during the breakfast. Then yeah, I just take my time. I manage my time, and I have some boss which are really not always on my back, you know.
Okay.
So there is some days, to be honest, I don't really work a lot, and the day after I will work for 3 days, you know. So
okay.
It's basically like that.
So do you think that you will continue to do some homeworking after.
No, starting from the day after tomorrow, I'm back at work.
Okay.
We have a quite big office, and we are only 6 to work in the office at the moment. And I will be a lot in the houses for the house management, as I told before.
Okay.
So I will not be at the office basically, and not meeting a lot of people. Maybe I will still work some half day at home and stuff. But
Okay. And what are you doing during your free time? Because the quarantine gives us more free time as well.
Smoke weed and I drink.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. No, I started to run again. I was still running before, but way less. And at one point during the quarantine, I came back to my parents.
Okay.
And so back in the nature, in the forest, in the woods, and I could really enjoy it. I really ran a lot, cycled a lot. So a really good life. And also I have a little daily routine. I cook better. Lot of vegetables, so I cook way more than before. I call a lot my friends. Not that much actually, but still. And that's basically it. Really easy life.
And do you think that the fact that there was the quarantine will have some impact of your life after quarantine? Did you develop some kind of new lifestyle because of that?
I just have to. I mean, I was already really taking care about how much waste I was using my trips. So I travel a lot, but I still try to travel by train or by bus if I can, and not taking the flight for nothing. So I'm still really regarding to the environment, and maybe even more later. I was already just buying stuff in small shops to support the locals. And basically I think that's really the things we have to change. Just stop buying at some big supermarkets. Stop buying things you don't need. Stop living. Stop how to say that? Just stop to do things that you don't need. To do.
To overconsume.
Exactly, to overconsume. That's it. That's the main thing. And I think the coronavirus has a direct things regarding to do thing that the coronavirus comes directly from the global warming.
Yeah.
I think it's really it's not cold enough.
No, indeed.
And so all the viruses that were killed during the winter are not killed anymore, and I think it will happen again. So,
actually, I have to admit that the coronavirus period for me is one of the best periods of my life. The fact that I can really create a nice daily routine for myself, that
it really helps, right?
Yeah, I
mean, just feeling right in your head.
Okay, so when you're in your everyday life, and there is always the pressure of going to work every day and giving your 100% to work and going back home. At the moment you remove the distance from your workplace and yourself, it changes everything. Because you're at home in your environment and you can really do you can really manage to work, but in a comfortable environment, with your own rule, with your own rhythm.
No rush.
For example, in your case, you say that you're taking your time in the morning. In my case, I will be more like waking up and starting to work right away.
Yeah.
Because I will be still a bit sleepy, but doing my work anyway, because I like keep the easiest tasks for the morning and get through my day really, really faster. And I know that the social distancing was a big issue at the beginning of the coronavirus. It made me depressed for, let's say, a week. No, so it made me a bit depressed, like after 10 days, you know, and then you're like, fuck, I'm alone and what I'm gonna do and everything. But then in the end, I was able to, oh, hi, Mark. So yeah, those changes about the coronavirus are really tangible, and you can feel that it will have some impact on.
Yeah, I think it will be weird at the beginning when we will be able to go for a drink and to be nearby people.
Yeah.
Again, I think I will be scared.
Well, okay. So the people like, if you look at the history of pandemic, there is always that thing that the deadliest wave will be the second wave. So I think that we are not done yet with the coronavirus. Oh,
We'll
hi,
see.
Anne-Lynn. Why won't you join us?
Oh gosh.
So and you're not alone here, which is quite cool.
No.
Also,
Now you have an main with me.
yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I think that even though I'm living alone at my place,
Yeah.
I
You have your cat.
I have, oh yeah, indeed I have my cat, but also I have a lot of friends to call. And I think that's what's quite enjoyable also from the quarantine, that we're able to reconnect with people from the past that maybe we
Yeah, I
wouldn't-
think we are that bored that we just send messages to people we don't take the time to speak with.
Yeah. But I mean,
Well, I didn't personally because I'm not really like that, but
well, in my case, I felt like I reconnected with some really interesting people. And
Nice.
Yeah. And that's the greatest thing. So that's another good thing about coronavirus. That it also helps us to reconnect, even though if there is the social distancing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and let's hope you will meet them after it.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. So do you have like already plans for after some travel plans?
I think that
or-
we really don't know how it will end and when it will end, so it's really hard to plan things.
Yeah, indeed.
So.
Okay.
And to send nudes.
And to send death threats.